Good morning, and on behalf of President Eric Lanier and the Executive Board of the Morris College Alumni Association, I bring you greetings for another Wednesday morning motivation. First of all, I want to say Happy New Year. It has been good. It's been good in so many ways. But what I want to share with you this morning is something that I hope will help you even as we approach and we move into this year. And I want to talk with you from the book of Acts, Acts 28, beginning with verse 1. And I am coming from the King James Version. And it says, once safely on shore, we found out that the island was called Malta. The islanders showed us unusual kindness. They built a fire and welcomed us all because it was raining and cold. Paul gathered a pile of brushwood, and as he put it on the fire, a viper, driven out by the heat, fastened itself onto his hand. When the islanders saw the snake hanging from his hand, they said to each other, "This man must be a murderer. For though he escaped from the sea, the goddess Justice has not allowed him to live." But Paul shook the snake off into the fire and suffered no ill effect. The people expected him to swell up or suddenly fall dead. But after waiting a long time and seeing that nothing unusual happened to him, they changed their minds and said he was a god. I want to talk just for a few moments, if you will. I want to talk to you about the past year. Many of us went through a variety of things, and there were some things that we did not expect. There were some things that happened that we did not know was coming our way. There were some things that happened that we foresaw, some of us, and yet and still, even though we foresaw it, we could not tell other people not to do what they were doing. Notice that this is taking place immediately following a shipwreck that Paul had told them that something was going to happen. And even though he told them that something was going to happen, he never said that we would not get to the other side. Sometimes in life, we're going to have some shipwrecks. Sometimes in life, there's going to be some things that happen that we have no control of. Remember now, Paul was a prisoner. When all this was going on, Paul was bound up. Paul was in shackles. Paul was not like everybody else. And yet and still, as the storm rose, yet and still as the wind blowed, yet and still as the ship began to break apart, yet and still as these things were happening all around them, Paul was still in chains. So, what does this say? This says that look at what you went through last year. Look at all the things that happened to you. Look at all the situations that you could have died. And for some people, they probably expected you to die or to lose your mind or to go crazy or not, especially to be in the condition that you're in now. That is the goodness of God. I love this fact that no matter what nobody else thinks, when God has a plan for your life, the enemy cannot destroy you. Look at Paul. Paul should have been killed in the shipwreck. But now that they have made it to the island and they have been greeted by these islanders, notice it says that Paul was beginning to put some firewood on the fire. It does not say that he was still bound. Have you considered some things that you may have been bound in 24 that God has already released you from, and you have not even recognized that you've been released? Don't go into this year being confounded and being in bondage of some things that God has already released you of. Now, the enemy was trying to kill him, first on shipwreck. Now the enemy comes along, and as he was putting firewood on the fire, a venomous snake bit him. Now, he should have died. He should have died, one, from the shipwreck, perhaps. He should have died, two, perhaps from the snake bite. However, when God has his hands on you, shipwrecks, snake bites, folk coming after you. Look at the fact of how many people had car wrecks and they made it through. Yes, we understand the fact that when God is doing something in your life. Notice here, it says Paul shook off the snake into the fire and suffered no ill effects. He shook the snake off back into the place in which it came out of. Some of us need to realize and recognize the fact that when things or people or situations are coming after you, don't get despondent. Don't get angry. Don't let them take you out of who you are or your character. Paul never lost his character. He never lost his character from the shipwreck. He never lost his character when the snake bit him. He just merely shook it off. There are some things that as you move into this new dispensation of life and a new year, a fresh start, there are some things that you need to leave behind you. There are some things that you literally just need to shake off. Maybe there are some bad relationships or old relationships. Maybe there's some new ones or some fresh ones that you just need to shake them off. They're not doing you any good. They're not prospering you anything. They're not helping you go forward. They're not helping you be a better person. I've come to realize that no one can make me except me. God has given me the ability and the capability to be all that He has created and designed for me to be. So this year, don't get caught up on social media and what other people are doing. This year, don't get caught up on what people are saying and having an itchy ear. This year, I challenge you to focus on being the better you. I challenge you as we move into a new year that you reflect on the year and years past and the things that have held you down. I say to you, release them and let them go. Notice when Paul shook the snake off, the snake had to let him go. There are some things in our lives that we need to release ourselves of. Doesn't matter what your past was, doesn't matter what anyone did to you. Stop allowing other people to continue to control you. No, I am in control of the destiny that God has for me. You are in control of the destiny that God has for you. Keep loving people. Keep blessing people. Keep doing what God has called you to do. It doesn't matter what anyone else has done to you, because no weapon that is formed against you, not that it won't be formed, but no weapon that is formed will prosper. There is a greatness in you. Alumni, there is an awesomeness in you. We have entered to learn. We have departed and we are serving. But let's take our servitude, let's take our serving to a higher level. Here's what I realize, and I am about to come to a close, that I am not to serve God. I am to worship God, and I am to serve mankind. So as I serve mankind, it is a form of worship unto God. And when we get those things in order, too many people are serving God once a week. No, you worship God every day. You get up in the morning with thanksgiving on your lips, no matter how bad it's been. The Bible says it doesn't even matter whether you're saved or not right now. You still ought to give God some praises because He's brought you from a mighty long way. I say to you again, this year, let's make worship a focus. Let's make serving a focus. Let's make loving one another, encouraging one another, building one another up so that we all can be a better people, not only for as Morrisites, not only as alumni, but as the people that God has created for us to be. You are awesome. And don't forget, this is your year. Take advantage of it, take hold of it, and know, just as I said last year, if nobody else cares about you, if you think nobody else loves you, don't forget my name, Frederick L. Golden Sr., because he does. Have an awesome year. I declare prosperity and blessings upon all of you. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to hearing from you. Be blessed.